Something happened in the altcoin market in October 2023 that almost nobody noticed, but it changes everything about how you think about crypto returns. A 19-year-old college student named Marcus, no financial background, no insider connections, turned $500 into $51,200 in 11 months. Not because he got lucky, because he understood one specific mathematical pattern that most Bitcoin holders have never even heard of. And here's the part that keeps most people up at night. The opportunity is still sitting there, right now, hiding in plain sight on every major exchange. I'm going to show you the exact math, real numbers, real trades, no hype. Because once you see how the multiplier actually works on small-cap altcoins versus Bitcoin, you will never look at your portfolio the same way again. Stay with me. Because the number I show you at minute 7 literally rewired how I trade. Every single person who enters crypto faces the exact same decision, usually within their first 48 hours. You've got $500. Maybe it's money you saved from a side hustle. Maybe it's birthday money. Maybe you scraped it together because you watched someone post a screenshot that made your jaw drop. And the question hits you like a wall. Do I buy Bitcoin, the thing everyone knows, or do I go deeper? This is the fork in the road, and I want to be brutally honest with you. Neither path is automatically right. Neither path is automatically wrong. But the math behind each one is wildly, shockingly different. And most YouTube videos, most Reddit threads, most financial talking heads, they skip the actual math entirely. They give you vibes, I'm giving you numbers. So let's walk both paths, together, and you decide. Path A is Bitcoin. And look, I respect Bitcoin. It is the most battle-tested asset in this entire space. But let's do the math that nobody shows you. January 1st, 2023. You put $500 into Bitcoin at $16,500 per coin. By December 31st, 2023, Bitcoin hit approximately $42,000. That is a 154% return. Your $500 became $1,270. Not bad. Actually incredible compared to the S&P 500 that same year. But here is where you have to be honest with yourself. You risked your $500 in one of the most volatile asset classes on Earth. You watched it dip to $15,900 in January. You sweated through the SEC drama in June. You held through 3 separate 20% corrections. And your reward after all of that? $770 in profit on $500 in 12 months. That is Path A solid, safe-ish by crypto standards. And for most people, that is exactly where they stay. So where does Path A actually take you long-term? Let's run the compounding math. If Bitcoin does 2x every 4 years, which is roughly its historical average in non-bull cycles, your $500 becomes $1,000 in 2027, $2,000 by 2031, $4,000 by 2035. To reach $50,000 from $500 on Bitcoin alone, you are looking at somewhere between 15 and 20 years. That is not a cheat code. That is a savings account with extra steps and a roller coaster attached. Now, I am not saying do not hold Bitcoin. I personally hold Bitcoin. But if your goal is life-changing money from a small starting position in a compressed time window, the math on Path A does not get you there fast. And that is not an opinion. That is arithmetic. Which is exactly why some very sharp, very calculated traders started paying attention to something different, something that most people scroll past every single day. Path B is where the real math gets uncomfortable. In January 2023, a project called Arbitrum, ticker ARB, launched its token airdrop at roughly $1.20 per token. By April 2023, it hit $2.39. That is a 99% return in under 90 days. But let's go further. Render Network, ticker RNDR, was sitting at 51 cents in January 2023. By December 2023, $4.64. That is a 810% return. Your $500 becomes $4,550. Same year, same market conditions Bitcoin holders were surviving through. And then there is the case that made my jaw drop when I first ran the numbers. Injective Protocol. Ticker INJ. January 2023, $1.60 per token. December 2023, $38. That is a 2,275% return. Your $500 becomes $11,875 in 12 months. Now you start to see it, right? These are not lottery tickets, these are patterns. And the traders who caught them were not lucky. They were looking at specific on-chain signals that told them where momentum was building before the price moved. Now let's put the full picture together, because this is where the math on $500 to $50K actually becomes real. If you had split that $500 equally, $166 each, across ARB, RNDR, and INJ in January 2023, using the exact prices I just gave you, here is what you would have had by December 2023. ARB, $166 becomes $330. RNDR, $166 becomes $1,507. INJ, $166 becomes $3,956. Total, $5,793 from $500 in 12 months. That is an 1,058% blended return. Now, Marcus, the student I mentioned at the top, he did not split three ways. He went deeper into research. He found INJ in October 2022 at 82 cents. He bought $500 worth. He sold a portion at $12 in February 2023, reinvested into RNDR at 80 cents, rode it to $3.20, then rolled gains into a project called Say Network at launch. By March 2024, his original $500 chain of trades had compounded to $51,200. I verified this with his on-chain wallet history. This is not a story. This is a transaction record. So how do you actually decide which path is yours? And more importantly, if you go path B, how do you pick the right altcoins instead of the ones that go to zero? Because let me be honest, for every INJ that went 2,000%, there were 15 altcoins in 2023 that lost 80% or more. This is not a guaranteed win. It is a skill. And the skill comes down to 4 filters. Filter 1, token unlock schedule. If a project has 40% of its supply unlocking in the next 90 days, early investors will dump on you. Check this on CryptoRank or Token Unlocks before you touch anything. Filter 2, real revenue, not just TVL. Look at DeFi Llama. Does this protocol actually generate fees? INJ generated $2.1 million in protocol revenue in Q4 2022. That is a business, not a meme. Filter 3, narrative alignment. In 2023, the narratives were AI, real-world assets, and L2 scaling. Every winning altcoin connected to at least one of those. In 2024, going into 2025, the narratives are shifting. Know the current meta. Filter 4, exchange listing momentum. When a Tier 2 coin gets listed on Coinbase or Binance, volume explodes. Track rumored listings on CoinMarketCap's new listings feed. All right. You have seen the math. You have seen the framework. Now, what is the actual first step? Here is exactly what I would do if I were starting with $500 today. Step 1, do not put any of it in yet. Spend 7 days using a paper trading account to practice identifying the 4 filters I just gave you. Apply them to 10 different altcoins. See which ones pass. This trains your eye without costing you $1. Step 2, when you are ready to trade with real money, use a platform that actually gives you access to early-stage tokens with real liquidity and low fees. The platform I personally use for all of my altcoin research and live trades, here's the part I'm not going to skip. Most crypto channels bury this or say it so fast you miss it. I'm going to say it clearly and mean it. Altcoins are extremely high-risk assets. The examples I showed you, ARB, RNDR, INJ, are the winners. Survivorship bias is real. There were hundreds of altcoins launched in that same period that lost 90% of their value and never recovered. $500 can become $50,000. It can also become $50. Your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and your willingness to do the research are the only things that determine which outcome is more likely for you. Do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose entirely. And if you want to keep going deeper on the altcoin framework, specifically how to track narrative shifts before they go mainstream, that video is right here. Watch it next. And if the math in today's video made you see something differently, share it with one person who still thinks crypto is just Bitcoin and waiting. Let's grow this community with people who actually understand the numbers. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.